wrestling fans, after some hijinks, back to the program. Green Mountain Wrestling's Shamrocks and Headlocks 2025 continues on right here at the Barre Elks Lodge at Barre, Vermont. My name is Peter DeLonge. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the YouTube page. Coming down to the ring for a singles competition. Strong Spirit, Gabriel Skye, been with us since the inaugural The Beginning event, which you can go back and watch on our YouTube page for free. He faced both members of Memory Museum in a three-way dance, came up on top on that one, and set a standard for his appearances here in Green Mountain Wrestling. Gabriel Skye is booked all over the place, and we're happy to have him here, especially when he's gone for a long time, traveling the world. When he comes back here, it feels more special. But he's been making more regular dates here, and it's great to have him here on the roster full time. And he has shown his interest in becoming the top name in Green Mountain Wrestling many times. And when we eventually bring the Green Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight Championship into play, when we debut that title, there's no doubt that Gabriel Skye will be one of the first to throw his hats into the ring for title contention.
Freeze is coming. Get out the way.
And this right here is another man that you can't argue with when he says that he deserves to be spoken about among the top names in Green Mountain Wrestling. You go back and watch his matches for the past couple months, there's no way you can argue either. Straight out the freezer, Don Freeze has come back to Green Mountain Wrestling in Barre, Vermont. Since he arrived in Green Mountain Wrestling about a year ago, actually, from what I remember, in a multi-man match, maybe a little bit before that. I think that was his second match at Shamrocks Headlocks, the inaugural edition. Ever since then, Don Freeze has shown such diversity in his ability in the ring, and shown just how talented a man can be in every facet of professional wrestling. And this right here, a matchup of these two top caliber names, is what I've been looking forward to since it was booked. But before we go any further, let's get to Tony Morse for the opening announcement.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is brought to you by Yipes and Bevan & Sons, Central Vermont source for auto accessories, vehicle graphics, custom apparel, printing, and more.
Oh, yeah!
Introducing first, in the corner to my right, hailing from Strong Island and weighing in at 190 pounds, Strong Spirit, Gabriel Skye!
Looking to add yet another win to his extensive list here at Green Mountain Wrestling.
And his opponent, from straight out of your mama's freezer, and weighing in at 275 pounds, the Frozen One, Don Freeze!
Looking incredibly focused and ready for this bout.
Your referee for this contest, Steve Nova.
Steve Nova with the pleasure of officiating this matchup. Before we get going, we gotta make sure that we give a quick shout out to our tag team partners for this matchup, none other than Yipes and Bevan & Sons, once again sponsoring the action here at Green Mountain Wrestling and supporting independent wrestling in the great state of Vermont. Thank you so much once again to our repeat sponsors, Yipes and Bevan & Sons.
This is the trilogy. Respect. Let's do it. I want to hear you, Barry. Come on!
The crowd is absolutely ready. As you heard, Gabe Skye announced this is the trilogy. This will be their third matchup. Series of 3. They each have one win. This is going to decide who gets the better of the two. Wrist control. Don Freeze going to work. Hip up by the big man. Now takes control himself. Gabe Skye trying to keep Don Freeze's advantage to a minimum. Making it difficult for Don Freeze to keep a hold on that wrist. Changing direction over and over again. Finally, the grip relinquished. And now Gabe Skye back in control. Wrist control, working on the elbow and the shoulder as well. Twisting up those fingers, too. Freeze says, all right, you got that. I'll show you what I got as well. Skye looking for a way out. Breaks the grip. Goes for the arm once again. Turns around. Headlock takeover. Don Freeze down to the ground now. Looking for the head scissors. Gabe out quick. And Gabe Skye stopped short. I think he realized, I think Don Freeze realized that he was getting up a little slower than Gabe Skye, and Gabe could have taken advantage of that, but he was the sportsman-like wrestler here, as per usual, and allowed Don Freeze to get up and not take that, what some would consider a cheap shot. Others, however, would call it taking advantage of a situation. That's what you have to do in professional wrestling matches. But Don Freeze and Gabe Skye just trading advantageous positions here. Getting back to the middle of the ring with a collar and elbow and just pushing each other off. No immediate advantage found. Stalemate.
I'm trying to win. I'm trying. Why don't you get there and do it?
I don't know who's yelling do something. He just did something for the past 3.5 minutes. I don't know what you were watching.
Me and you. I got him. All right. Yeah.
Collar and elbow tied once again into a headlock. Gabe Skye finds the advantage. Freezer sends him off. Gabe Skye off the ropes, shoulder to shoulder, nobody moves. Back to the headlock. Skye does not want to find himself doing that again. You might as well run full speed into a brick wall. Freezer offers him another shot. The crowd wants to see Gabe Skye punish himself, I think. Hey man, yeah, sure, go for it again. Maybe physics will fail on this one. Aha! The trickery! But Don Freeze saw it coming, ducked that, kicked him in the midsection. Very nice hip toss. Oh, boots to the bush, however. Kip up. Gabe Skye with a nice arm drag. Gabe Skye goes down with that pinning attempt as Don Freeze waited for him and then, whoa! Misses the Kawada kick wildly. And Don Freeze says, you're not getting me with that.
This is really pissing me off.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about my language. I'm a little frustrated. Come on!
Gabe Skye admitting to feeling some frustration here.
No!
Hit so hard the headband comes off. And yeah, Gabe Skye definitely sends a nasty forearm. But Don Freeze does as well. Has him tied up on the ropes, grabs that arm, punishing the joints and ligaments in that arm. Sends him to the ropes, no reversal by Don Freeze. Leapfrog from the big man, tripping attempt unsuccessful, but sends him off his balance. Just enough for him to walk right into that drop kick. Beautifully done by Don Freeze. Opposite corner. Coming in with a head of steam. Shoulder into the midsection. Nearly folds Gabe Skye in half. Northern Light suplex with the release. Goes for the cover in the middle. 2 count only. Match continues. Freezer faked me out on that one. I thought he was going for a shot to the head, went for the midsection. He could see Gabe Skye breathing heavy, so he wanted to make it more difficult for him to take a deep breath. Goes for the bread basket, knocks what little wind is in him right back out of him. Brilliant maneuvering. Gabe Skye trying to turn it around. But Freezer right back to the midsection, testing the abdominal region. Gabe Skye trying his best to cover up and mitigate the damage. But Don Freeze is relentless. Holds onto the ropes. Freezer can't get him. Gabe Skye holds on once again. Blocks that chop. Comes in with a forearm right to the jaw of Strong Spirit. Nasty chop right across the chest. Overhand slap. Just punishing Gabe Skye. Off the ropes now. Dropping down. Goes for the leapfrog, but Gabe Skye saw it coming. Wicked boot right to the jaw. Cut him right off. The momentum that was building this whole time has been stopped. Skye needs to keep it going if he wants to completely cut off that momentum. Here he comes in the corner. Raging forearm right to the jaw. Snapmares him over. Skye perched on the top turnbuckle. Goads him in. Off the middle ropes now. Rolls through. Here he comes. Freezer sends him up and over. Skye on the outside. Blocks the clothesline. Gamagiri right to the jaw. Skye up to the top. Lightning quick. Freezer never side. Nice crossbody. Goes for the cover. Leg is hooked. No. Shoulder up. Don Freeze now in a bad position here. Gabe Skye sensing the blood in the water and now starting to swarm and strike. Steve Noble warning him about the open hand strikes. They need to be open hand. I guess that first one was a little bit closed. Trash talking the big man now is Gabe Skye. Don Freeze absorbing those strikes. The anger written across his face. Now striking back. Overhead chops. Backs him up to the ropes. Palm strikes now. Rapid fire. Striking it wherever he can. Jawjacker to turn things around by Gabe Skye. Freeze back on his knees again. The disrespectful boot right across the face. That's the kind of thing that angers your opponent. We all know an angry opponent is an opponent that makes mistakes. A lot of times it's not attitude, it's strategy. And here comes Gabe Skye across the way. Double boots right to the jaw. Freezer might be out. The eyes are rolling in the back of his head. No! Still only a 2. Crowd showing their appreciation here. Split right down the middle. Both of these guys, crowd favorites. Gabriel Skye called for a powerbomb. I'm not going to second guess him, but man, if you can get him off, that'd be impressive. Not this time. Freezer picks him up, has a hold of him. Re-maneuvering over on the shoulders. Fireman's carry position. No, slips out, goes for the cover. Oh, sits down on pin. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Trades a couple of pinning combinations. Whoa, misses with a kick. Gabe Skye rolls Don Freeze up. No, 2 count only. Ducks the clothesline. Freezer up the ropes. And a shoulder tackle takes him down. Oh, leg lariat takes Freezer down. And he may have hurt his leg on that one. The force that Don Freeze was coming across that ring with may have jammed a knee in the leg of Strong Spirit Gabriel Skye. Now a 2 count only once again. Now resorting to desperate measures here, Gabe Skye. Listen, you may not like the tactics, but when you're in there, a lot of emotions run high. You want to get that win, and sometimes you got to cross the line. Chop right across the chest. Talk about strong spirit. Freezer showing it as well. But it may have been a flash in the pan. As perhaps that burst of energy may be gone now.
You want to continue?
Now coming back, firing back at Gabe Skye. Blocks it, grabs the arm in a cording hold and comes in with a headbutt. Had to cut off that train of momentum once again. Gonna try it. He's gonna try the powerbomb again. The confidence in this man. Up once again. In a dangerous position. Oh, sends him off. But Gabe Skye comes around, lands on his feet. Rolls through, sends him, Mipasso. Shoulder tackle. Brings him down to the canvas. Freezer sizing him up. And another shoulder block. Gabe Skye back up to his feet. Freezer has Skye in his sights. Reversal by Gabe Skye. Freeze off the ropes. Stop short. Stop short of the drop kick. Jackknife pin. No, 2 count only. Blocks the clothesline, sends one back. Blocks another. Continues to send him back. Volleying one after another towards Gabriel Skye. Reversal again by Gabe Skye. Freezer off the ropes. Misses with that back elbow. Comes across. Another shoulder block. Takes Strong Spirit down. Freezer continuing to pummel Gabe Skye, just to roll him over. Sends him down. Has the leg. Goes for the cover. Not enough. Skye holds on. These two are going at it. Both of them want to win this badly. They want the 2-over-1. They want the second win. Gabe Skye climbing back up to his feet with the help of the ropes. Freezer sizing him up, waiting for the right opportunity. Skye turns around. Fireman's carry position, looking to finish Gabe Skye off. No, for a third time. Gabe Skye finding a way to squeeze himself out of that predicament. Off that top rope. Oh, catches him! No! Thought it was going to be a power bomb, but Skye repositioned once again. Sent Freezer flying. Down Freeze to the outside. Gabe Skye sees an opportunity. You know as well as I do what's going through his head. Off the ropes. Coming across. Freezer doesn't see him. Holy smokes! Tope Suicidorino gets 110% of that. And the intensity being shown by Gabe Skye right here. Startling some of the crowd members. And Freeze is in trouble here. You can see. But the good thing for him is he knows he's in trouble. He knows he needs another moment. And Freezer's a big guy. For Gabe Skye to bring him back into the ring is no easy feat. He's not making it easy for Gabe Skye. Here comes Skye from across the way. Wait a minute! Pulls him up! Oh! What a kick right to the face! Skye's up on the stage. We've seen him there multiple times before. Hold on a second. Coming across. Oh! From the stage. In with the Hurricane Rana. Sends Freezer flying onto the hardwood floor. Can't feel good. Freezer back to the inside. Gabe Skye going to the top. Look at that Skyfall double stop. If he hits this, it's over. No! Changed it up. Freezer rolled further away. So he changed up his plan, turned it into a splash, and it wasn't enough. Gabe Skye wondering what he's got to do to beat Don Freeze. He's thrown nearly everything at him. Freezer keeps coming back, keeps getting that shoulder up, keeps holding on, digging deep for this crowd here at the Barre Elks Lodge in Barre, Vermont. Skye will not be thwarted, still wants to get that powerbomb. But no, once again, Freezer cutting him off. No, going. Backdrop lands on his feet. Oh, what a kick right to the side of the head. Freezer in trouble once again. The adrenaline pumping through the veins of Gabe Skye. Wait a minute. Oh my God, he nearly took his head off. Freezer digging deep, utilizing every ounce of energy he had for that nasty lariat. Up on the shoulders with the drop. Freezer with the kip up. Standing moonsault. Got the cover. 2. No. You gotta be kidding me. Both of these men digging deep. Now Gabe Skye finding a way to get the shoulder up. Freezer senses the end is near, wants to put an end to this matchup. Wants to finish Gabe Skye off once and for all. Heading to the top, where he's most dangerous. Don Freeze up on the top. Oh, no! Gabe Skye out of the way! Skye saw it coming! Averse danger! Oh! Knee straight right to the jaw! Freezer's out! On Dream Street! Oh! Sit down powerbomb! No! Freezer! Stuck in a cross-arm breaker! Got the crossface in! The arm is hooked! Almost an omoplata along with that crossface! That arm is not straight! It is bending in an unnatural way! Freezer needs to think about the longevity of his career! Wait a minute! Rolling him over! Go for a pin! 1, 2, no! Gabe Skye forced to relinquish the arm, but the crossface is around the jaw! Right back to the arm! He's got it cinched in! Nowhere for Freezer to go! Freezer needs to scrape and claw his way over to those ropes! Can he do it with the weight of Gabe Skye on his back? Yes, he can! The heart being shown by both these individuals tonight is incredible! As much as I'd love to watch him fight forever, please don't do that. I'm gonna lose my voice in the next 4 or 5 minutes. Freezer now on the outside. Strong Spirit in the middle. Getting back up to his feet now. Meeting on the apron. Blocks the shot, does Freezer. Sends one back to Gabe Skye.
No.
Don Freeze had something in mind, but Gabe Skye trying to stop him, grabbing his arm. Oh! Handing out chops back and forth to each other. The frustration, the anger, the rage coming to a head on both of these men. Not holding anything back now. Freezer wants to get back up to the top rope. Gabe Skye meeting him up there, cutting him off. Neither man will relent. Shot right to the side of the head of Don Freeze. Well, that's just unsanitary. Freeze blocks one, sends one back, blocks another one. Now the both of them throwing bombs, haymakers, everything they've got, back and forth. Showing incredible fight, incredible spirit, incredible heart. Freezer getting the better of Don Freeze getting the better of Gabe Skye. Now Skye prone. Freezer up top. He's on Dream Street. Barely conscious up there. Another headbutt. If there was any flickering light left on in the attic on that one, it's shut off now. What does Gabe Skye have in mind here? Oh no! Ah! Holy smokes! Off the top rope! Gabe Skye right back up! Freeze, not moving! Skyfall! Skyfall double stop! Nearly tears him in half! And that's it! What a match! What a match!
Here is your winner, Gabriel Skye!
There's nothing I can say that can elevate that. There's nothing more that I can add. If you just watch that matchup, that's all you need. What an incredible performance by both of these men. Wanting so badly, so desperately to pick up this huge win in their unofficial series of 3. Don Freeze showed us an amount of heart that I'll bet a lot of his detractors never thought that he had within him. But he showed it here tonight in front of everybody, here at the Barre Elks Lodge, here on the YouTube page, here for anyone to see. Don Freeze can hang with the best of them. And Gabe Skye just cemented himself as one of the very few that can say that they are at the top of the singles mountain here in Green Mountain Wrestling. And the show of respect and camaraderie is very welcome in this day and age, as both of these men poured their heart and souls into this matchup, and they understand what it takes to be on this level, and game recognizes game. For those who haven't been following Don Freeze, go out of your way to find where he's at next and see him live and in person, especially if it's here at Green Mountain Wrestling. And for those who've been following Gabe Skye here at Green Mountain Wrestling, you know the trajectory is on an ever upward course. And I can't wait to see what's next for both of these men. Folks, don't go anywhere. We got plenty of more action to go right here at the Barre Elks Lodge in Barre, Vermont. Green Mountain Wrestling's Shamrocks Headlocks 2025 continues on. Don't go anywhere.